Hey everyone, I'm Luo. In today's video, I'm taking you along for my Formula for test drive. And it all took place at the Red Bull Ring in Spielberg, Austria. So why did I travel all the way from China to Austria for this? For sim racers like me, it's always been a dream to actually sit in the cockpit of a real Formula car one day. And the Red Bull Ring is exactly where you can make that dream come true. Whether you're driving an F4 car, a GT car, or a KTM car, every vehicle is covered by insurance. Even if the car gets damaged, you only have to cover the deductible. Insurance covers the rest. There's no deposit required either. All you need is an international driver's license and you can get behind the wheel of a Formula car. This actually isn't my first time at the Red Bull Ring. Back in 2023, I came here for an F4 test drive. But it rained all day before my session and the track crew didn't have wet tires ready. I ended up leaving without getting to drive at all. Now, over 2 years later, I'm heading back to Austria for another shot at this speed-fueled adventure. And this time, I'm going all out. I decided to wear my custom Ferrari racing suit, which took me about a month to put together, and climb into a Red Bull Run race car. All in all, this trip had its fair share of twists and turns. But in the end, I got what I came for and finished the driving experience without a hitch. In this video, I'll walk you through the entire formula for driving experience at the Red Bull Ring from start to finish. Let's start with the trip to Austria. No matter which country you're flying from, most people will land at Vienna International Airport. The Red Bull Ring is in the small town of Spielberg, so I wouldn't recommend relying on public transportation to get there. It's really inconvenient. On the map, whether you go straight from Vienna or from Graz, which looks closer, you'd have to switch between multiple public transport routes. So my top tip for getting to the Red Bull Ring is to rent a car locally. I had my drive scheduled the day after I landed, so I chose to pick up and drop off my rental car right at Vienna Airport. Once you collect your luggage and exit the terminal, you'll see signs for rental cars. Follow the signs for about 5 minutes and you'll reach the rental car offices. You can tell that big rental companies like Sixt have much larger offices than the smaller brands. I headed to the drive counter where I had a reservation. Filming wasn't allowed there, so we didn't get any footage of the process. The whole check-in process was basically filling out forms and paying a deposit. The deposit was around 250 euros. After that, I picked up my keys and headed to the parking garage to pick up the car. The pickup area is right above the rental offices, but each company is on a different floor. Finding your car can be a bit of a hassle. Once you find the car, inspecting it is even more of a hassle. But it's mandatory because things can get really messy if there's damage later on. By the time I finished inspecting the car and drove out of the garage, it was already past PM local time. I was tired from the trip but also buzzing with excitement for the Red Bull Ring. The only sure thing was that the next day would have great weather. So the next step was to get some good rest. I wanted to be fully energized when I climbed into the Formula car cockpit the next day. Because of the time difference, I wanted to sleep in a bit in the morning. So I booked my driving session for PM local time. I took my time with brunch, then hit the road for the Red Bull Ring. The drive from Vienna to the Red Bull Ring takes about an hour and a half. Quick side note, plenty of navigation apps work in Europe these days, but since the Red Bull Ring is right next to the Alps, Google Maps is still the most accurate option for now. Austria in autumn is absolutely stunning. The local way of life, with its strong sense of personal space, is perfect for people who enjoy their own company. I couldn't help but daydream about living here long-term someday.
A few moments later.
Lost in those daydreams, about an hour later, I arrived in Spielberg, the town where the Red Bull Ring is located. Except for the F1 Austrian Grand Prix in June, when hundreds of thousands of people flood in, this place is almost empty most of the time. Most of the accommodation options here are winery guest houses, and each one only has about 10 rooms or so. Driving a Formula car is pretty physically demanding. So if you have time, it's a good idea to stay at a hotel near the track the night before. Last time I was here, I stayed at the Steierschlels Winery guest house nearby the night before. I definitely recommend this place. The rooms are big and clean, and they leave a welcome letter ready for you before you arrive. And what stuck with me the most was the very lovely German woman working at the front desk. The drive from the guest house to the Red Bull Ring only takes about 5 minutes. When you arrive at the Red Bull Ring, there are free parking lots on both sides of the visitor center. That's where most people park. Instead, you can turn left in front of the visitor center, take the small road around it, and drive straight to the parking spots right by the Driving Experience Center. It saves you a long walk. The Driving Experience Center is right up ahead. That's where we'll check in and have our pre-drive briefing.
我们现在已经到了这个奥地利的红牛环赛道。那我身后就是这个 Driving Experience 的签到中心。现在的时间是3:03，然后天气挺好的。就是天气这件事情是我这次行程我认为最大的一个幸运。那我们等一下先去 check in， 大家可以看到我今天穿了一个这个法拉利的赛服。那目前还不是赛服啊，是帽衫。那等一下先上去看一下，看看他们会不会有一些什么样的反应啊，先试探一下。那我们现在先准备去 check in。
I have to say, the staff at the Red Bull Ring are incredibly friendly. Maybe it's because my last attempt fell through 2 years ago, or because Asian visitors are pretty rare here outside of F1 season. The woman helping me check in actually seemed to remember me. That caught me totally off guard in a good way. As per the rules, I entered my personal info on their iPad, which has a scrambled keyboard layout. Then I showed my international driver's license and completed payment. Of course, I used the voucher I got from my cancelled drive last time. Now, one downside of driving an F4 at the Red Bull Ring is that the prices go up every single year. My voucher was from 2023 for 20 laps of F4 on the Red Bull Ring's South Circuit. It cost €1,190 back then. 20 laps is the highest tier package you can book. In 2024, the same 20-lap package went up to €1,430. And this year, it's €1,540. So my 2023 voucher wasn't enough this year. I had to pay the price difference. The price does include insurance, and there's no deposit required. But at this rate, it might be unaffordable in just a few years. So if you want to try this, don't wait too long. After registration, the staff gives you a Red Bull Ring driving experience postcard and an F4 wristband as little souvenirs. Next up was waiting for the briefing. While we waited, we took a walk around the Red Bull Ring Visitor Center.
Yes, you have time, 10 minutes.
When we got back from the visitor center, we ran into Lewis, the instructor for this session. If I remember right, he was the one who told us the drive was cancelled due to weather at the briefing last time. Funny enough, he's the instructor again this time. I'd call that a full circle moment. Unfortunately, Lewis told us filming wasn't allowed during the briefing, so I'll use footage from my last trip instead, just to give you an idea of what it's like. All in all, the briefing content was basically the same as the training I did for my racing license. The whole briefing is given in both German and English. So if your German isn't great, make sure to ask Lewis to go through it again in English. After the briefing, we headed to the garage to get changed. Including me, there were 3 people doing the F4 test drive this session. We couldn't film the changing process, but you can probably imagine everyone's reaction when I put on my full Ferrari racing suit. The Red Bull Ring staff, including Lewis, probably had never seen anyone this bold. They all came over to take photos with me. I genuinely felt like I'd just won the Austrian Grand Prix for Ferrari for no real reason. But that feeling faded fast.
刚刚红牛环的工作人员还跟我们来合影，就可能他们也没有见过敢在红牛环穿法拉利赛服来驾驶方程式赛车的人，所以很期待等一下的这个驾驶。
After photos and small talk, let me show you the F4 cars we'll be driving. The cars at the Red Bull Ring are older F4 models. They don't have the halo system and they run a 4-cylinder, 6-speed powertrain. The staff matches you to a car based on your height. I got assigned car number 8. Let me show you what the inside looks like. Before we start, the staff pushes all the cars out of the garage and onto the pit lane. Every car is fitted with communication gear, but this isn't team radio. It's just a one-way headset that lets you hear track instructions. I thought I'd be doing the launch myself, but probably for the sake of the experience, staff members push all the cars to get them started. It takes away a little bit of the fun, but it also saves you the embarrassment of stalling at the start, especially with everyone watching. One important thing to note, you actually drive 23 laps total. To start, Lewis leads 3 laps in the safety car, so everyone can get familiar with the track. After those 3 laps, the real experience begins. All 3 cars do a rolling start on the safety car's signal, then pass it to start their flying laps. I've lapped the Red Bull Ring hundreds of times on simulators, but actually driving a real F4 car on the track feels completely different. You really feel like Leclerc or Verstappen behind the wheel. I couldn't help but push harder, and I even managed to overtake someone on track. Here's the onboard footage of that overtake. When we finished driving and got back to the pits, the sunset was glowing over the Red Bull Ring's start-finish straight. Honestly, 20 laps of driving isn't nearly enough to satisfy a racing fan's passion. That's why the Red Bull Ring offers onboard footage downloads. It costs an extra 69 euros though, but I don't think anyone skips this. I mean, it's the Red Bull Ring and I'm in a Ferrari suit. How could I not?
会给大家这个就是 V6的这个付款码。好，那我们今天整个的驾驶体验到这儿就结束了。那其实整个感觉还是不错的。然后现在天色也基本上天快黑了，我们现在就是准备返回维也纳。那如果有机会的话，也欢迎更多的朋友来这里做这个驾驶体验。
The sun was setting as we left the Red Bull Ring and the sky was getting dark. I wasn't tired at all, even though I had another hour and a half drive back to Vienna. The whole ride back, my mind was still replaying the drive. All in all, driving a Formula car wasn't as hard as I thought it would be. It felt almost exactly like driving on my simulator with all assists turned off. Finally, let me show you how to book a Red Bull Ring driving experience. Head to the official Red Bull Ring website. Under the Driving Experiences section, you'll find tons of different programs. If you want the F for experience like I did, select the Formula for Driving Experience soundtrack option. Click through and you'll see 3 different packages with different lap counts plus available booking dates below. All the links on the website require immediate payment, but you don't have to book that way. You can also book via email and pay when you arrive on site. About 1 to 2 business days after you send your booking email, you'll get a reply. Normally, they'll ask for your personal information in that email to set up your driving experience profile. Just reply to that email and you'll get another response 1 to 2 business days later. That email will include your booking confirmation and a risk disclosure form. You have to reply within 7 days and attach scanned copies of the signed booking confirmation and risk disclosure form. Once the Red Bull Ring sends you a confirmation reply, your booking is all set. That's it for this video. I'll leave all my fellow racing fans with one line from the Red Bull Ring voucher. It perfectly sums up how every car enthusiast feels. Life is better on a racetrack.